PortugalDoor.com is the place to go for that and help this wonderful Portuguese family out who do so much beyond the business of finding you a home, especially in the north of Portugal. But
so I guess we're running out of time now, right?
Why? What did you want to say?
Well, the negative thing that I mentioned I wanted to discuss today, we didn't even get there. So
no, go on, please do.
Do we have 5 minutes?
Look at this. Vitor is one of my favorite guests. I always enjoy his perspective and wit.
Thank you very much, good sir.
Yes, go ahead. Of course we do. I'm not going to deprive you of that.
Yeah. So what I actually had planned to discuss today is a bit about maybe the less positive aspects of moving to Portugal and all of that. Because, of course, I want people to have the happiest lives ever. But sometimes I have some clients that I've met some people that, again, maybe because of politics or something in their country, they have this like... what do you call it? Honeymoon view of Portugal, and everything is wonderful, and my country is horrible, so I'm going to move there. I just want to talk about a few aspects that may be less positive, kind of to frame it a little bit, so that people who do want to move here, they are aware of the pros and cons, so that they don't just dive in. Of course, again, I'm having a little boy in a month, so of course, the more that I sell, the better. But I do prefer that people who come here, they come with the right reasons and that they're sure that they want to stay here. So one of them is...
that now. You're giving us a 5-minute guide to, like,
a little bit. Yeah. So one of the things to keep in mind is, like, again, everybody says it, but the bureaucracy. And I want to get into some specifics now because I've been dealing with that. So last week, Heather Binder, she asked me if I could go to Porto with a couple of their clients that they had an appointment there, and they've really been struggling, for quite a while. They needed a document, I think, that required an address, but before they had that address, they needed to have the residency, but they couldn't get the residency without that document, so it was a catch-22, right? And so I went with them. I was there. I basically just talked to the person in Portuguese. Hey, we have an appointment. Can we go in? We wait on the line. No, you can come here. We just waited for our turn, walked up to the desk area. And then the guy basically told me, oh, I'll take care of them. Don't worry, I can translate. You can go wait outside. So I did almost nothing, but the whole process was done quickly, immediately. They were super happy because everything worked out perfectly. And then as I was going home, I was like, this is weird. I didn't even do anything. What happened? And I even talked to Heather, could it be because I'm Portuguese and I was there with them? And she said 100%. Right. The fact that you were there as a Portuguese helped this move along quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And another note, yesterday, 2 days ago, a Chinese lady talked to me, and she has her underage son is booked for 12:30 in Porto, and her is 30 minutes later in Viana do Castelo.
Yeah.
So there is this nonsense. Another thing to note also is now going back to real estate. And again, this is why I've been focusing so much on being a buyer's representative instead of just a listing agent. Every real estate training, they just say listings. But I want to represent buyers because it's a mess. So I had a couple. I've been helping them out for a few months. She came here from Lithuania with her 2 underage boys, 6 and 10, to see a few properties. We saw a property. It looks like really what they've been looking for. They really like it. I talked to the guys, asked for documentation, asked for more information so we get the better feel of what the land is like. After a week of consistently contacting them, finally they call me back and they say, oh yeah, we just noticed that the agent who did the listing didn't gather any documentation. And the heirs that have the documents, they're all in France. And so, by the way, it is not legal to have a listing from an agency without all of that documentation, but it happens all the time.
Yes.
And another case, have a client, saw a property, really liked it, wanted to buy it, right? Even went in there, he wanted to facilitate things. Hey, how about this? Let's just do this amount. We keep everything in the house. We handshake, and then we move on from there. He barely even wanted to negotiate. Like he offered less, 4,000 euros less. So that's nothing, right?
Hmm.
But then as we go through, then the offer was to be with everything. And then they decided, no, there are certain things that we're going to keep. And then, oh, by the way, the garage is not legalized. Oh, and by the way, we won't want to sign at your lawyer's office. We want to sign it here. And, it's like, I think Portugal, I don't know if you'll agree with me, because I never moved here. I spawned here, right? But it really feels like Portugal is like a gauntlet for the first few months, maybe years that you're here in Portugal. And then only after that wall of fire can you really start relaxing and then living a bit better.
I agree. We did an Expats Portugal webinar last Thursday about 40. The figure this figure that's spoken about are 40% of people not making it, especially from the US here in Portugal, and it's to do with that. It's to do with a contagion of difficulties. Now, usually the headline is, well, it was a health thing or it was a family thing. But actually what it often is behind the scenes is a number of things, like a syndrome or a conspiracy of a few elements where people just lose the will to prosper here. And the thing about that is it's sad and unnecessary, because it is a great culture to prosper and live in. I've no hesitation or question in recommending Portugal as a culture. I absolutely love it. And that's what this is about. I wouldn't be doing this every morning if it wasn't for that. But all you say is true. And those things added up can be enough to have someone say, I give up. I can't do this. I can't do this. So help is needed when it comes to the gauntlet or the wet fish across the face. Looking at it in the Monty Python way, you need help. And we've got Mel agreeing. Absolutely agree, Vitor. I found complete differences if I went with my Portuguese ex-partner and often got charged much less for things if he got the prices. It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. So
unfortunately, I've had many Portuguese people, and on real estate specifically, call me and say like, hey, Vitor, we have this really nice property and we're asking too much money for it. So we want to sell to an American because they have more money.
That's right. That's right.
And it's like, do you think people who have money because they're retarded? I know that's a strong word, but Jesus Christ, like, in what they didn't stop to think, okay, I'm an American. I have, let's say, $2 million because I just sold my estate and want to move to Portugal. So I'll just go on the internet. I find the first Portuguese home that I come across. They're asking 1.5 million. I guess that's about California prices. I'll just buy it without thinking about it or taking a look.
Yes.
No, when people talk to me, sometimes they know the market better than I do. Okay, they've seen everything there is to it. Then they reach out and then, what about these? Yeah, we saw all of them. We don't like none.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell something for 700,000 if everything else is 400,000. I'm sorry. It won't happen unless the agent lies to them.
And it's a misplaced relativity, isn't it? So yes, it's like, what are people from other parts of the world used to paying for a sea view and a very well-made modern apartment? Where they're from, it might be $1 million, mightn't it? You come to Portugal and it will be less. So that's where this whole illusion comes from, isn't it? Is that people
that can happen. I've seen properties like, I don't know if it was a South American country or whatever it was, but I saw a listing. I think it was from a Remax there that was like 100,000 or something. And it was a really nice property. And you could look at it and you could be like, wow, what a bargain. But the reality is that property there was actually 20 to 30,000. So it was actually like 5 times the price.
Very
even
interesting.
though to you it feels cheap.
Very good. Yep. Relativity. Yes. Push up the prices to take advantage of the foreigners, then complain that all the prices have gone up.
Exactly. That's always been the thing, right? So, okay. Oh my God, the foreigners are pushing up the prices, right? And who sells it to them?
Yes, indeed. I've always said that. Persistence and endurance.
Who has a property valued at 200,000 and insists that they want 300,000 in their own pocket, and the agent's commission goes on top.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Oh, and
It's
by the
worth-
way, I've said this before, but if the foreigners are the ones raising up the prices of the homes, they're also the ones who double the price of bread, in my opinion. Because when I moved here, it was a certain bread that was 18 cents. Now it's 34.
Yes.
Sure, it's only almost 20 cents, right? It's only 16 cents increase, but it's nearly double the price, which is roughly what the price increase we had with real estate. So I challenge people to ask themselves, is real estate that's getting more expensive, or is it the euro that's going down the drain?
Very interesting to leave us with, and we do like the Costa pound index, which we've discussed before. I think Vitor Costa's very own pound index there, with his insight, the associated insight with how what will they be called? Fiscal policy is working, and how it might not be what it seems. And again, it comes back to, doesn't it? It comes back to instead of the people who are supposedly leading this for the benefit of the people, it's like those people who might do something about that would much prefer other people to be fighting each other and arguing about where the real where this is all coming from.
If you think about it, almost every action taken by the government to try and help things has had the complete opposite effect. No, I mean it. The more I look into this,
yes.
Can I give you one last example?
Yes, please do.
So you know how everybody has this, like, not really a joke, but this thing where Americans have really big trucks, right?
Oh yes.
Do you know why that is?
No, I do not know, Vitor, why Americans have big trucks.
Right. So the commonly accepted theory is that they're trying to compensate for something small. Right?
Yes, okay, that makes sense.
But the reality is, it's actually for the environment.
Okay, go on.
So here's the thing: the government or some kind of regulating body or whatever, they decide to care about emissions, right? Because every country now needs to have low emissions or whatever, so that they're the saviors of the world and very clean and very environmentally friendly, which means they export all of their manufacturing to China. So that then they have to ship things back and forth, which pollutes more, but your hands are clean.
Yeah,
okay, so take a look at the pollution from China, because everybody is exporting there. And that's another example of government regulations appearing good, right? Hell is paved with good intentions, but causing harm. And by the way, when I went to visit Giliange, which is a 1955 medical boat, Portuguese, that's in Viana do Castelo area, I went in there a few months ago with our daughter and a few parents. Nearly every piece of engineering machinery and all of it inside was made in USA.
Was
the
it?
steel industry, all of that, it was all made in the US. And then we had the free trade agreements, and now everybody just outsources to slave labor in China because it makes it feel good and people pay less. And so people produce materials in the US, ship it to China, manufacture it, ship it back to the US, and then they sell it because it's cheaper than producing everything locally, right? Anyway, that's besides the point. So we're talking about trucks.
Yes, we are.
And so they came up with this formula, this calculation, to basically see how pollutant those cars would be. And if the result of that formula was above a certain level of pollution, then the companies would be very heavily penalized and pay a lot more in taxes. I think the difference would be like if you were to make like a $50,000 car, I think the penalty would be like $30,000 extra. So the consumer would have to pay double the price just to get something that wouldn't fit those requirements. But the problem is they were very strict, and they were getting harder and harder to meet every year. So you need to have lower and lower amounts. The thing is, on that formula, part of that formula was the size of the chassis of the car, meaning that if you were to make a small truck, it would be nearly impossible for you to meet those quotas. But if you made the car bigger, right? If you made the car bigger, that number would go down, and now you wouldn't have to pay those penalty taxes. And so we started making huge cars that use up more fuel because on paper they're more eco-friendly because of their size.
Wow. Yes, this is the sort of shenanigan that is going on, isn't it? That's messing with our perception. I don't know how it is.
Everything, almost every measure that the government tries to do something,
yes,
especially when it comes to penalties, has the opposite effect. In my opinion, the best way the government can incentivize things is to provide incentives like tax breaks. Like instead of having people pay out of their parts to build homes or whatever and rent out, why don't you lower those prices? Everybody complains that the landlords and this and that for the high host prices. But for example, if I have a home that I rent out for 1,000, first of all, less than 700 goes into my pocket because taxes immediately go out the window, right? Not to mention all of the costs and then property taxes and all of that. And if I have a loan, I'm actually underwater now. So everybody complains about the landlords or whatever for having a 2, 3, 5% profit margin, but nobody complains about the government taking 30% of that.
Yes.
Right. So
look, it only took about 10 minutes for you to get promoted to a prime ministerial candidate this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for that excellent clip. And I'll obviously find a very good clickbaity title for it. All of Portugal's problems solved by Vitor Costa. Fiery opinions on the fires. Excellent stuff, Vitor, this morning. And for those of you who have described us as racist, we sound like racist old uncles or something. Apparently, Vitor was one of the reviews we got. We would suggest you play the ball and not the man, as Vitor was saying. Talk about the issues. Talk about what he's talking about: long trucks and unfair criticism of landlords, not just ad hominem attacks. Let's grow beyond that, shall we? Government doesn't care about you; it only cares about growing and governing. Newsflash.
Another good example. I think it's in the UK. They're now discussing like these online laws that you need to have an ID or whatever to access websites, right?
Oh my goodness!
To protect the children.
Yes.
But here's the thing. First of all, children are smarter than these government people, and they will find ways. They already have found several ways to get around it.
It's a challenge, isn't it? It's not
going to stop children from doing anything, but as a bonus, you now get to control who of the adults controls the internet, and if they talk bad about the government, you know who they are.
There we go. That's us sounding very cynical now. However,
hasn't the UK been getting the police going to people's homes because of stuff they posted online? I think Germany also did 6 a.m. raids on people who posted bad things online.
I think this has been happening, Vitor.
And so again, that's what I meant about the extremism, right? Yeah. If you don't let people express their concerns politically and diplomatically, they will not forget. They will get to a point where they will blow up and things are going to get far worse for everybody involved.
Yes, well, I've said this. Yeah, exactly. If people were serious about the things they were saying, and when I say people, I mean governments, they would probably be doing things other than setting up an ID check for going on the internet. If it comes to that, I'm done with all of this. I will be calling you to find me a little bit of land in probably in northern Portugal, and we'll just go grow vegetables and have done with it, Vitor. Parental control, that could work as well. Newsflash, my parents could not stop me from doing stuff I was not supposed to. We know that, Matty. We could guess that about you. Guess what? Today's kids do exactly the same thing, but not have to go outside for it. And America, yes, indeed. Australia has gone nuts with that ID for anyone to use social media to show you are over 16 years. I'm getting cheesed off with actually having to prove I'm not a terrorist. Oh God, I've said the word now, which is going to probably be injurious to all of this morning. But
now on YouTube, the most important is the first few minutes. You're fine.
Okay, fine, all right. I get fed up though with having to prove I'm not a money laundering terrorist with evil intentions every time I just log on to my personal banking. I have spent more hours proving I am me and that I don't have evil intentions than I care to do. It's hurting me, not the people it's designed to be hurting.
Here's something else that really changed my perspective on things. It was when I realized that money laundering and tax evasion really means someone is trying to keep the money that they worked for.
Should we just
think about
it? I will. And we will leave that hanging there as something to consider. Vitor, as ever, great to talk with you. Never quite sure what's going to happen. You need to make sure that tax breaks are focused on substance, not workarounds. Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Adrian. Good to have you here. And Vitor, good to have you here. And everybody this morning. Serious subjects. And I think we've dealt with them with our usual aplomb and respect and legality. So well done, everybody. Another sensible conversation. Not that you necessarily need to agree with everything, but we've got out of here without becoming red-faced or cancelling anybody. Thank you, Vitor. Lots of love to you.
My last message is talk to people you disagree with instead of just calling them names, because even if they may be factually incorrect, their feelings are valid. And if you don't have a conversation with them, they will not feel any less strongly about it. So either you learn something or they learn something. But I have friends on all political affiliations from the left to the right. And I can tell you, they all agree with at least 95% of things. But they're so caught up in the team sports that one says one thing, the other puts through a filter of whatever their side brands the other side, and this person literally wants to destroy the planet.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we've been there, we've done that, absolutely. But more importantly, perhaps this. Oh no, that is very important. Did you say Maria said that as well? Was it Maria who said that? Your wife said that first part of advice about listening to people.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I was going to say she's a wise woman, which is of course true.
She is, yes,
of love
a virtuous woman for sure.
And
every time I don't listen to her and I think I know better, I get humbled very well.
You should know better. Yes, I think back to music tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Good show today. Thank you. Vitor, we need to meet one day. Vitor, who is, of course, the foreigner's choice for Prime Minister of Portugal. Remember where you heard that?
Yeah, so...
Cheers, mate. Big round of applause for you. Love to the family. I'm going to do a little bit of light relief and play some of the material that John has sent us, Raul de Nort, from up your way. So, Vitor, thank you very much. Take care, mate. Have a great day. Bon dia, boa semana. There he goes. I'm going to stay here for just a moment and, yes, give you that video of the wonderful things that have been happening up north, despite other things, terrible things happening around the country, of course, with the fires. Will the Vitor party be standing in the elections? If not, why not? Well, we'll leave that hanging there as well, as is other content and questions, big questions for humanity. Let's have a look at the first of John's submissions here. Beautiful things going on up in the north of Portugal. Well, that stiffens the sinews and summons up the blood, does it not?
Let's herd the goats. Take a long time at this pace.
Thank you, John and Pam. I'm so glad that still happens in Portugal. That's the why it's worth the admission price. It's that sort of thing. That's so glad to see that still happening in Portugal. And finally, I think we should go out with a final video here. This is your lot for today. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Yeah, back to music tomorrow. So send me your breakfast banger for Tuesday, terça-feira, the 19th of August, tomorrow morning. Last clip from John, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bon dia e boa semana.
Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need